Hello everyone, my name is Kami, and this is my guide to Eden Turn 1 Savage. My callouts will be on the left. Eden's Gravity will be the first mechanic. It is an AoE that is percent based. Shields count towards player's HP bar, so you can be shielded. Things like Heart of Light won't work. It deals 70% of your max HP. The main tank might die if you're not careful due to autos, so keep them up. Vice and Virtue is next. DPS, please spread out for your black holes, and don't drop them near the boss. Eden's Flare's next. Make sure everyone is under the boss to avoid the AoE that hits everywhere around the room except under the boss. Vice and Virtue will be next. It will be tank busters on both tanks. Make sure to use mitigation. The Speart of Paradise is next. The off tank must voke off the main tank during the cast to prevent the main tank from getting hit twice. The main tank will get a vuln stack. For this next Vice and Virtue, healers will get praise. They need to pass it to both tanks. Tanks need to pop cooldowns to prevent the damage, and they will have a heavy bleed. They must be healed. The boss will jump to one end of the arena. You must get behind the boss fast for pure light. It's a room-wide AoE. If you get hit by it, you will die. This next mechanic is Delta Attack. Make sure to have assigned inner cardinal positions with 1 DPS per tank and healer. Once you get to your inner cardinal position with your partner, spread out for fire. Don't hit each other with fire. Dimensional Shift will be next. It's an AoE that is percent based, just like Eden's Gravity. The boss will cast Paradise Lost now. There are many ways of handling this mechanic. You can have the range bait puddles at their inner cardinal spots while the melee stack behind the boss and rotate clockwise, dropping 5 puddles as a group. Once all the puddles are gone, all members must stand close and in front of their assigned beams. The boss will then jump to one side of the arena casting Pure Light. You must be behind the boss to avoid the room-wide AoE. Now you must get ready for the Dimensional Shift AoE. Remember, this is percent based, just like Eden's Gravity. There will be another AoE right after this, Fragor Maximus. This is just a normal AoE that hits really hard. Make sure to mitigate both of these AoEs. Now, get ready for the ad phase. There will be 2 ads spawning soon. Make sure to get out of the center away from the bombs that spawn. Once the ads have spawned, both tanks grab the ads and face them away from the party. Make sure to use a cooldown because these ads kinda hurt. Both the ads will be casting mana boosts. Make sure to interrupt the mana boost cast. If you do not do this, the mana boost will buff the ads' damage massively. Both the ads will start casting mana bursts. Make sure to focus down one of the ads first, so that way you don't have to deal with 2 AoE mana bursts. Your group should only have to deal with a total of 3 mana bursts during this phase, but if you don't kill him by the 3rd mana burst, he will then cast Unto Dust, which is then Rage, and your party will wipe at the end of the cast. Healers, make sure to heal everyone up before the very long cutscene. The boss will now cast Paradise Regained. This will change the patterns for certain mechanics further in the fight. I like to call this mechanic free DPS uptime because it does absolutely nothing to the players. For this next mechanic, Vice Virtue, you must have 2 groups, 2 DPS and 1 healer per tank. Make sure healers and DPS stack in front of each tank for the tank buster stack. The person in front of each group will get a physical volume up stack. For this next Vice and Virtue, it will be DPS black holes stacking with their partners. It's the same partners you had for the inner cardinal spots during Delta Attack. The next mechanic will be the new Delta Attack. There will be lightning tank busters on both tanks. The rest of the party stack behind the boss for the Fire 3 AoE. For this next Vice and Virtue, healers get ready to pass praise to a DPS. It will put bleeds on those DPS, make sure to keep them up. Get ready for the Speart of Paradise tank buster next. Remember, the off tank always needs to evoke during the cast to prevent the main tank from getting hit twice, and the main tank will get a physical foam up stack, preventing him from tanking the boss further on. Dimensional Shift is next. Remember, this is the AoE that is percent based, just like Eden's Gravity. Now, get ready for Pure Beams. 4 meteors will spawn that must be destroyed. While destroying the meteors, have 2 melee and 2 range bait the rotating arrow beams away from the center. The beams only target those closest to them. There is only 4 beams at cardinal spots. After destroying the meteors and baiting the beams, get to the center where it's safe. The boss will now jump once again for pure light. Make sure to get behind the boss to avoid the room-wide AoE. Now, let's get ready for another Dimensional Shift AoE, followed by Eden's Gravity AoE. These are both percent-based AoEs, but shields count towards your HP bar, so you can be shielded. Things like Mantra from Monk, Blackest Night from Dark Knight work real well. These AoEs deal 70% of your max HP. Also, make sure to keep your main tank up, because he's always getting autoed. Next will be Eden's Flare. Make sure you and your group are underneath the boss to avoid the room-wide AoE. For this next Vice and Virtue, get ready for Tank Buster on both your tanks. Make sure they pop a cooldown and make sure to heal them up. Get ready for the Speart of Paradise Tank Buster next. Remember, the off tank always needs to evoke during the cast to prevent the main tank from getting hit twice, and the main tank will get a physical foam up stack, preventing him from tanking the boss further on. This next Vice and Virtue's DPS black holes. DPS just need to spread out once again, don't be near the boss. The boss will basically be repeating first phase mechanics again. Get ready for Delta Attack. This is the same Delta Attack from first phase. You go to your inner cardinal spots with your partner and spread out for fire. The next mechanic is Vice and Virtue. Get ready for Healer Praise on both healers. They must pass prey to tanks. Tanks must pop a cooldown to mitigate the damage, and healers must heal them through the bleed. The bleed does a lot of damage. Now, get ready for the boss to cast Dimensional Shift AoE. Remember, these are always percent-based AoEs. Now, get ready for Pure Beams. 4 meteors will spawn that must be destroyed. While destroying the meteors, have 2 melee and 2 range bait the rotating arrow beams away from the center. The beams only target those closest to them. There is only 4 beams at cardinal spots. After destroying the meteors and baiting the beams, get to the center where it's safe. A good tip to remember is that after every meteor phase, the boss will be jumping into a corner and doing pure light. Make sure to get behind the boss to avoid the room-wide AoE. Now get ready for the next Dimensional Shift AoE, followed by the Eden's Gravity AoE. Remember, these are percent-based AoEs, so your healers are always going to be struggling whenever these AoEs go out. Make sure to keep up the main tank. He's always going to get super low because he's being autoed. Don't let him die. Just remember, shields help out with these AoEs, like Divine Veil and Blackest Night. Now get ready for the next mechanic, Eden's Flare. Like always, make sure you're underneath the boss to avoid the damage. At this point, you should have the boss around 9%. You're almost at the home stretch. Get ready for Paradise Regained. Remember, all he's doing is changing the patterns of the mechanics. Get ready for the Vice and Virtue once again. Remember, 2 DPS and 1 healer stack in front of the tanks to mitigate the stack damage. The player in front of the group will get a physical volume up. For this next Vice and Virtue, each DPS stack with their healer or tank partner for black holes to share the damage. There's only 2 more mechanics that you won't see in this video because I never hit the enrage. But the other mechanic is the Delta Attack with the Lightning Tank Buster on both tanks and the party stacking behind the boss for the Fire 3 AoE, followed by the Fragor Maximus AoE, which is the enrage. And here is a callout sheet I made. It might help you out. You can use it if you like. Alright guys, I hope this helps you with your clear or anyone struggling on the fight. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe, and I'll make more. Take care.